In last week, we have discussed about the fungi, kingdom fungi, and in the fungi, we have discussed about the basic structure of fungi, hyphae, mycelium, all those things. I think you got this. Those things you got it. And next, we are moving to an important area, that is sexual and asexual reproduction in fungi. So this part is quite important, and there are a lot of terms and terminologies are coming, so please listen very carefully, and after that you can go through the notes what I have given. After studying this, we have to go to the classes or divisions in fungi. So first one, that is the reproduction in fungi. In asexually, in fungus, we can see almost all the asexual reproductive techniques we can see there, like budding, fragmentation, and asexual reproduction. You can see there. And for budding, the best example is yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which we used inside the kitchen. And there is one yeast is also there which reproduce only by fission, that is known as Saccharomyces pombe, and that particular yeast is also known as fission yeast, fission and fusion. I don't want to discuss about that. You have already studied about bacterial fission and fungal fission, both are same. Apart from this, fragmentation also you can study that. That means any one part of the hyphae will remove, and that means one part of the hyphae will be separated from the parent, and that particular hyphae will develop into a new organism. Apart from that, fungus reproduce by spores. So in the spores, these fungus are reproducing in many different spore methods. They sporation methods they will reproduce. That is also an asexual method of fungal reproduction. If you see here the picture, you can see that calmidospore, conidiospore, blastospore, arthrospore, many things. So we will go one by one. First one, it is known as the sporangiospores. And see the diagram. You can see that sporangiospore, there is a cup like holder which holds some spores, and that spores will be given. That means that spores will come out when that sporangiospores burst. So that is a technique though, and it is an asexual spore is produced in a sac like structure called sporangia, and the sporangium is produced at the end of a special hyphae. That means at the tip of the hyphae, sporangiospore will be there, and the sporangiospores will be sporangium contains number of haploid spores which ruptures with the sporangial wall, and it is very common in the rhizopus. And next one is the conidius. You can see that conidiospores is one of the best example for conidiospores is penicillium notatum and aspergillus. And in this conidiospores, you can see that at the tip you can see some multinucleated structures at the hyphae, 111 structures we can see that. So they are known as the conidiospores, and these conidias are produced inside the sporangiospore and sporangium. These conidias are not produced inside the sporangium, and these conidias are arranged in a chain like structure. From this chain like structure, one will fall down, of spores will be separated, and it will grow into a fungus. Next one is known as arthrospore. You can see that arthrospore, the first one, you can see that it is a very primitive type. That means spores will be formed inside the fungal mycelium, and they will be separated by the process of fragmentation, and that is known as arthrospores. Next is known as calmidospores. Calmidospores, this is one of the most common technique, this fungus reproduction technique, asexual reproduction techniques, which fungus are following during when the conditions are not good, unfavorable conditions. And the hyphal portion, that means the hyphae, come in contact with the water, come in when it is come in contact with the water, and it will be bursted out, and when the favorable conditions comes, it will grow into an individual fungus. That is one of the main technique for the calamidospores. That means they will be having a sporangia like structures will be there, that means with a covering, and that covering will protect the spores. So when this fungal hyphae loses, when the water comes in contact, then it will burst off, and when the favorable condition comes, it will grow into a individual fungi. And next one is known as the blastospore, the last one, last picture I think, yeah, last one. Blastospores, it is a budding spore that formed at the terminal of the hyphae, and these will looks like a spores that is attached to the bud, something like a plant like structures, and each of them will fall down and develop into a new fungi. And when comes into, these are the one of the main techniques how they are undergoing asexual reproduction, especially spores, and each and everything are important. Please go through the notes. If there is any doubt, contact me back or put any comments under the commenting section where the video is uploaded. And if you see the sexual reproduction in fungi, there are 2-3 ways are there. One is plasmogamy, karyogamy, and meiosis. Plasmogamy means the fusion of plasmogamy means the fusion of protoplasm. Karyogamy means the fusion of nucleus, and the meiosis means it is a reduction division. And inside this sexual reproduction, when we discussing about the formation of gametes, when the gametes are formed, these gametes will be of 3 types. Isogamous, that means both male and female will be of same size. Anisogamous, that means both male and female will be different sizes. They will fuse together, fertilize together, and shape and size, they will fertilize together and produce a next generation. Then oogamous, that means the female will be big and the motile sperm will come, motile male will come and fuse on it, and that will develop into a new fungus. And you can see the pictures also there, isogamous, anisogamous, and eugamous. That is, egg is immotile. In eugamy, egg is immotile and the sperm is motile, and the other two both are motile. And gamete, and the next one, that is gametangial copulation. If you see there, you can see the diagram B1. That means male and the female gametangia come into contact, but they don't fuse, and the fertilization tube will be formed there. And whenever fertilization tube will be there, and the female gamete and the male gamete will pass through it, and then they will fuse. Then gametangial copulation, 2 gametangial protoplast, they will fuse together and they will form zygospore. And the first 3 are the main first part, that is gametangial copulation. These are the most 3 main methods how these fungal spores are sexual reproduction in fungus takes place. Others I have just given for your information. That means apart from this also, we are having different methods how the fungus can reproduce, and we have a technique known as spermatization and hyphae. Fungal hyphae will mate together, and during that mating they will exchange the genetic material. And when we come to the sexual reproduction fungi, there are many fungal spores are produced, sexual spores are produced. One is known as ascospore. That means it will be usually single cell and produced in a sac. Ascus means sac, and these ascospores will be different in species to species. And basidiospores, it is a reproducing spore, very common, we can say it in basidiomycetes. Single cell spores in a club shaped structure will be there. And next one is zygospore. Zygospores are thick walled spores formed when two sexually compatible hyphae when they are made come and meet together, that you can see there. And oospores, that means these are formed within a special female structure known as oogonium. That means male part, that means the sperm will, male reproductive structure will, not structure, the male gamete will move and fuse with the female. Once the females fused with this female, it will develop into a new fungus. These are the main spores, sexual spores by which the fungus reproduce. So please go through this and give importance in this fungal sexual reproduction for the first one, what is isogamous, anisogamous, and eugamous. That is very important. And other three sexual copulation methods are there in fungus, but I have given for your information. And all the spores, asexual spores, whatever we have seen here, this is very much important. So please go through these notes, and this much explanation is not given in your textbook. Very few are there and not explained very detailed with the diagram. So just to go through this, then you read the textbook, then you will understand it further. If you get any doubts, please comment below. Thank you.